October 27th, 2024, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, minor fender bender. Police officer arrives after doing some investigation, decides he's going to issue a citation to a 70-year-old man. Next thing you know, the headlines read, Oklahoma City cop is investigated for slamming 70-year-old man to the ground. Take a look at this real quick video snippet.
You're not supposed to leave any space at all. You're not supposed to leave any space at all.
You see that two car?
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
I am the top
The way
car.
where your vehicle was located, your
Top
vehicle
car.
was not like that.
Sit down.
No.
You sit down. Get on the ground.
No. See, sir. No. Call an ambulance. Anh call anh lại. I need the ambulance.
Yeah, I'm gonna call an ambulance.
Look at his face.
112 Hefner, roll me fire and incident to supervisor.
Sir, my husband. We stay here waiting for go to here. We not U-turn.
Okay,
waiting to
it doesn't
go
matter
here.
about a U-turn or what. That lane,
And I heard she hit us.
I understand that, but you're not. You see where that car's at? Whenever you enter that area, that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to leave any space at all. You're not supposed to leave any space at all.
You see that two car?
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
I am the top
The way
car.
where
I'm the
your
top
vehicle
car.
was located, your
Top
vehicle
car.
was not like that.
Sit down.
No.
You sit down. Get on the ground.
No. See, sir. No.
I spent 20 years as a police officer in Grand Rapids, Michigan, city of about almost 200,000 people, all road patrol, all night shift. And I can tell you that there were times when I had to go hands-on with some elderly people. But I got to tell you, and as a matter of fact, I'll share with you the very first time I had to issue a use of force report in my career. And it involved a highly intoxicated man in his late 60s. But I'm going to draw some lesson points and teaching points out of the situation out of Oklahoma City. Folks, I've said it before and I'll say it again. When you allow yourself to become frustrated, impatient, you increase the likelihood you're going to say or do something that can escalate a situation. Many times in my career, I would handle minor fender benders, and there would be a language barrier between me and one or all of the people involved. You've got to recognize that there's a language barrier and not let yourself become frustrated and impatient because of their inability to fully understand and comprehend you and what you're trying to do and why you're issuing them the citation. In this situation, the elderly gentleman got frustrated, didn't understand why he was being issued the citation, tried to defend his cause, and I've been there, I get it. People try to argue, debate, and litigate the situation right there at the roadside. You hear the officer say in the video, hey, I'm not gonna debate this, I'm not gonna argue this. And that's where, in my experience, now back in the day, I would do an about face and walk away. I'm done. I'm just not gonna, call that number, set up a court date, let's go, and that's the appropriate way to handle these situations. But letting yourself get frustrated and impatient because someone who's elderly having a hard time processing language barrier, and we see what happens. You've got to understand that now back in the day, there was a telephone number that we could call, we could get a translator on the line, and we could communicate that way. Today, you could pick up your phone and just look up Google Translate and do all the translation for you. I mean, there are ways today better than when I was in to communicate with the people that you're dealing with. And especially when you have all the time in the world, I mean, no, you don't have to litigate and debate the whole ticket issue right there on the side of the road, but you can at least use a translator to say, sir, I know you're upset, but if we're going to discuss this further, call this number, make an appointment. But I cannot, and I don't have time, and I cannot, argue or debate this right here, right now. And then let it go. It doesn't mean they're going to be your best friend and high five you. They're going to walk away upset, kick the tire, and do whatever, but at least you've communicated with them and let them know in such a way that you did not end up become frustrated and impatient and end up doing something that escalates the situation to the point where now this officer he's most likely going to lose his job. I mean, this is a hard video to watch. Now, again, I have been in those situations where I've had to go hands-on, but I can tell you in those situations, they were scrapping. The very first use of force report I ever had to fill out and turn in as a young rookie police officer was about 1998. Got a call of a neighbor trouble. People called in, I don't know, around midnight and said, hey, our next door neighbor, old man, loud, drunk, and stupid. He's out on his porch. He just won't shut up. Will you please come talk to him? No problem. I show up. I'm standing out there in his front yard just trying to talk to him, and it's going nowhere. Number one, he's drunk. We stand out there for a little while, and I'm trying to get through to him and give him all the time to process. Sir, you've really got to just call it a night. But he's loud, he's drunk, he's stupid. Now he becomes very aggressive towards me, confrontational. And mind you, all the neighbors are watching and all that. They're ready to go to bed. But this is not quieting down. And finally, I got to the point where I realized I'm just going to have to place this guy under arrest for creating a disturbance. He's in his older 60s at the time, very, very drunk. And I go up there, and the next thing I know, he and I are rolling around and fighting in the front yard. And this old man is handing my ass to me on a platter. I was trying to be gentle because this is an elderly gentleman, right? This guy had a lot of energy, a lot of strength, and he was drunk. And so I really had to crank up the force I was using just to subdue him. And he ended up getting a bloody nose and all that. And so I had to do the use of force report. And I was just like, wow, dude. And so here's the thing. I've been there, and I know what it's like to get frustrated and impatient with some people. But if you're an officer and you're on road patrol, you have got to maintain that self-discipline and that professionalism, and to continuously assess the situation and to be thinking about options. Do I really need to go hands-on? And I look at this video of this guy and the elderly gentleman in Oklahoma City, and based on my own experiences and observations, I'm not seeing how or why it required that amount of energy and force to subdue that man. Because I have had situations where I would just simply go up to someone and just grab their arms and put their hands behind them and clink, clink, and then we're done. This old man did not give any indication to me, and none of the video I saw showed that he was trying to be, aggressive and hostile and combative or anything like that. He was frustrated. He was trying to explain his side of the story and so on. This is just a frustrated old man. All you had to do was pick up a phone and get a translator. If that would have been at least enough professionalism and courtesy to a gentleman who's having difficulty understanding why you were doing what you were doing. And I don't know, in the video you can see there's a lady right there. I don't know if she would have been able to explain it to him any better, but the point is, recognize when it's time to disengage, break contact, and just walk away. And I remember one time issuing a citation to some folks, lady and her family and her kids turned left in front of oncoming vehicles, right there in their street, right down the street from their house. And the other car was demolished. She called her husband. He comes home and he's telling me, my wife tells me that this is what happened, and I have to believe her. And I said, that's fine. You can believe her, but look at the damage. Look at the evidence. And he wanted to try to argue and debate. And I said, sir, there's the phone number right there. It is what it is. I just don't have time to argue and debate. And I can tell that you're not going to just come around to see what I'm seeing. So, and I turned around and just walked away. I didn't even say, I don't remember wishing him a good day. I just turned around, walked away. There was nothing else to say. And they did fight the ticket and they lost. That's just one of those situations. However, again, there were times when I've had to go hands-on elderly drunk people. And The circumstances were very, very different. But in this case right here, folks, if you're an officer, road patrol, and you're dealing with situations like this, slow down and assess the situation. Consider the age of the individual that you're dealing with. Consider the language barrier. Consider your options to communicate. You got all these translation opportunities and apps and things out there available to you right now. When you watch this video, the officer didn't even try to sell it. Hey, this is what it is, and I'm not going to argue with you, and it is what it is. So on one hand, did he do anything wrong? No, but it could have been handled very, very differently. Folks, don't end up becoming so frustrated and impatient that you end up doing something that escalates the situation that could potentially cost you your job like this officer did. See you on the next video.